Hello and welcome to this new video in the SQL section. In this video, we will see one another scenario. Now, in the last video, we have seen how to combine names together by using concat and concat WS. In this video, we will do the opposite, which is separating or splitting them out. Now, there are various techniques of it. However, I will cover through one of the functions which you need to know called as char index. Let us see. So, we'll be reusing what we created in the last video towards the end. There was a table called as employees BK. This is the table. So assume that we don't have the first name, last name, middle name, and I want to extract the first and the last name from the full name. All right. Assume that we just have this one column. So what do? Let us understand right away what are the challenges. Now, as you can see, the first name is on the left hand side and the last name is on the right hand side. So immediately it should strike to you that, okay, if you want to extract the first name, you will use the left function. If you want to extract the last name, you will use the right function. But the challenge over here is that both left and right function, they take some characters like 2, 3, 4 and whatever. For the first employee, the number of characters for the first name is only 3. But it is not the same for everyone. For the second one, it is 5. For the next one, it could be 8 and 7 and so onwards. And it is not possible to write a query for each particular row. We have to write only one formula or function or expression which will work dynamically on all the values. And that's what this example, though simple, but it is worth understanding, especially for the beginners. It could be complex, but I will be helping you to understand this in a simple way. So what do? We have to find a pattern in this which is common and use that pattern and get things done. So as you can see, the common pattern between all of them is nothing but a space. There is a space between the first and the middle name, and then again between the middle name and the last name. Simple. Some of the employees don't have middle name, so those are exceptions. We'll see what can be done with those. All right. So, but as far as, let us assume that every employee has a middle name as well. So considering that, we will start with the first name. What you do is, let me take this and say, comma. I say left of full name. So the problem is that if I say I want 3 characters, it works fine for the first employee, but it will not work for the subsequent employees, the other ones. We have to find dynamically how many characters are there for the first name, and the only simple way is to find through a logic wherein we'll find the space position. Anything which is on the left hand side of the space is nothing but my first name, this way. So which function can help me? We will learn a new function called as char index, and that's what the example is all about. So char index is like, okay, what do you want to search? Space, comma. In which column or value you want to search. If it's a value, hard code the value. If it's a column name, pass the column name. So I say from employees BK. Run this. And I'll bring the first name to compare. So now you see, 4 means space is at the 4th position. By default, char index will stop at the first instance of the space. Although I see there is second space, it will not go over there. We'll see that scenario also very soon in this example. Then for Kevin, the space is at the 6th position. All I will do is I want to utilize this and use the left function against the full name. Now this also brings us to a concept called as nesting, wherein we embed one function inside the other. So I say left of full name, and inside that, in the second argument, instead of hard coding the number, because that's not possible, which is not satisfying all of the conditions for employees, that's why I bring the char index. So in such a case, generic, I'm not talking only about this example, whenever you use one function inside the other, it is called as nesting. And the innermost function will first get evaluated, then the outer. So in this case, char index will work first. I need to close the bracket. Let's call this as, for example, first name. And run this. So there you go. But is this perfect or not? I'll copy the first name, paste in single quote. There is an extra space. And that's obvious because char index is returning me the position of space, which is 4th for the first employee. And left of full name, comma 4 means 4 characters. So I need to get rid of that extra space. There are 2 ways. What you can do is, you can either do trim Okay, this way. Let me confirm. Copy, paste, gone. Or another way, I can say after I get the char index, this will give me a number. I need to reduce it by 1. Why? Because there is one space, simple. But this placement is important, and this will, you can end up creating mistakes or syntax error. -1 will not come after the left function. It needs to come in the second argument after char index has retrieved the position. Okay, and then you run, copy this way. Okay, fine. That was easy though. Now we will jump to the last name. So it is but obvious that I cannot use a left function, I have to use a right function. As it is, can I run this expression? Let us call this as last name. This won't work because the logic for the first name and the last name is completely different. So here it is giving me 3 characters, and that's why it is extracting 3 characters. What do? We will do a different technique. What I will do in this case is I will find the length of the entire employee by using the len function. Then I'll find the position of the second space. But in order to find the position of second space, I also need the first position. Only then I can do it. Once I get that, I will drop this by subtracting the length from this. And whatever is the remainder portion will be nothing but my last name. So how do you do that? Simple. First, let us find the position of the last name of the second character. How do you do that? I'll get rid of everything right now. So if you see the char index function in a separate query or isolation, it has 3 inputs. Search expression, which is space or anything, full name, and then the start location in integer. Start location is nothing but the starting point from where you want to search. So what I do is, in this case, just consider an example, comma. For the first employee, there is a space at the 4th character. I want to start searching for the next space after the 4th character. So I do 4 plus 1, which is 5. If I run this, what it will do is, I need to, what are we committing? Okay, this closing bracket should not be here. What this will do is, it will start searching for the space in the full name, but it will start searching after the 5th character. So what we did is 4 plus 1, we skipped it. But again, this is static. This will only work for the first employee. So what you do is simply, you need to skip the space position. You will just copy this char index function and use it again. Now here's where the confusion will start for most of you. Again, we'll apply the same logic. Why are we doing char index twice? Keep in mind, this will give me the position of the first space. And where I have written this? I have written this in the 3rd argument, which means starting point. So for the first employee, just consider first employee. This will give me 4. After this, I need to do plus 1. Why plus 1 is because I want to just skip that one space. You will not do plus 2, plus 3, plus 4 because you just want to skip one character. That's it. So I will skip one character, which will become 5. From the 5th character, it will start searching for space and it will stop here. Now if you run this, you will get the position of all the second spaces in each employee. At times you are getting 0 because these are exceptions, because they don't have middle name and they will have only one space. We'll ignore them for the moment. Okay. Now once you get this, all you got to do is subtract. Take the length minus full name. Length is the greater number. That's why you will take the length first. Now if you run this, you get the number of characters, and these are the number of characters for your full name. So now finally you do a write function. You say write of full name, comma, this, and close your bracket over here at the end. And there you go. Now you have the last names extracted. We will ignore these names because they don't have middle name, and there is another thing that you have to do, because we have to use some mechanism. If it doesn't contain middle name, then do something else. But that if diversion we have not yet learned. We will learn, then you can implement it, right? So how the execution takes place over here is, you're saying write a full name, fine. It sees it needs a length, it will first calculate the length. Okay, this is a nested function. Write will work at the end. Then when you come to char index, it sees that there is another char index inside it. So first it will run this char index and do the plus 1. Then this char index will run. then length will be subtracted from char index, and then write function will work. That's it. Finally, you can combine the left comma and the first and the last name. So you get this output. And just take this and hit an update statement if you want to run against that table, as we did. So the goal of this scenario or example or video was to show you how char index function works. For beginners, it might seem a little bit complex, but I'm sure through practice this will come to you. And this is how really we use those left, right, and length functions. I didn't touch base over there because we had to cover a scenario or other things. And then by now, I am assuming that you already know these functions before coming into this video. So we'll see such more scenarios in the future. This is just the start, I would say. Nothing complex. See you in the next video.